Now tune in close, the stories will unfurl. Chatting trends and news, it's a digital swirl. Let us turn the vibe on high, just press play. It's a feast of thoughts where the listeners stay. This is where the vibes align. It's kinetic, sync with the pulse. Your go-to tech aesthetic. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Tech events, we talk the scene. Making sure your ears stay keen. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Light up the airwaves, fire the code we see. Personality in every story that we'll weave. Groove is on the beat, it's tight, we're live today. Talking apps, gadgets that light up the way. That's entertaining, oh let it play. Seamless chatter, like threads in digital tapestry. Icons and notions of this tech odyssey. That's entertaining, it's all in play. Now tune in close, the stories will unfurl. Chatting trends and news, it's a digital swirl. Let us turn the vibe on high, just press play. It's a feast of thoughts where the listeners stay.
Oh, I muted myself. I was just telling my guests how I am the worst at muting myself. So let's try that again. Welcome everybody to That's Entertaining. I am your host, Arthur Kay, coming to you live from Fusion Events headquarters in Toronto. And this is the show where we focus on everything related to events, entertainment, and technology. And it is good to be here. It is usually a bit more of a jovial show, but we're coming today with a little bit more of a serious topic. Now, if you are a longtime listener, you know we usually like to keep things fun and lighthearted. But as I said, we're going to have a bit more of a serious tone today because we really need to talk about something that's impacting so many in our industry right now, and that is the devastating fires in Los Angeles. Now, these fires have displaced families, destroyed homes, businesses, and left many professionals in crisis. Our industry thrives on community, and when one of us is struggling, we rally together. And that's why today we're shining a light on the situation and raising awareness for those in need. Before we get into this show, and you're watching live, please do tap into the comments and let us know where you're watching from. If there's anybody joining today from Los Angeles, that would be great. Oh, I see him frozen here. Okay, let's fix that. We definitely want to fix that. Okay, here we go. What is going on here? Am I frozen? Appear to be frozen here. No, I'm not. Okay. Am I good? I think I'm good. Yes, there we go. Okay, starting off with a little bit of technical difficulties, but I'll admit I was a little bit frazzled coming into the show today, so we should be good now. So as I said, if you're watching live, please tap into the comments, and of course, if you like the show and you enjoy the content and you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and especially with today's episode, you can share this to your network because we are going to be trying to raise awareness and raise some money for the Search Foundation, which is a charitable organization that raises money for event professionals in crisis. So on today's show, I have two amazing guests. I have Kate Pate, who is the chairwoman of the Search Foundation. And I also have Seppi Day, who is a event professional from Los Angeles, who is going to share her story. She's got the boots on the ground and is going to tell us a little bit about her experience living through this fire. So I thought first up we could take a look at some stats here about the fire, just to sort of set things up. So this is some statistics about the fire. You can see the different fires that are burning. There's the Palisades, there's the Eaton fire, Hughes, and Border 2. I don't know what that is exactly, but just looking at the acreage burned so far, 23,000, almost 23,500 acres burned in the Palisades. And the population of the burned area is 121,000 people, and the population of the evacuation zone is 19,000 people, and 12,000 structures threatened, although I heard higher numbers, but this was updated on January 27th. And the Eaton fires, 14,000 acres burned. 140,000 is the population of the burned area, and 55 structures. So you can see, I mean, based on acres burned, 20, 30, 40, we're almost around 50,000 acres burned. I think that, from what I read, is larger than the entire city of Boston. So just looking at here, we have 28 people that we know of have lost their lives, unfortunately. It has charred over 23,000 acres, according to CAL FIRE, the state's fire agency. In total, fires have burned through about 40,000 acres in Los Angeles. That's just an insane amount of area. And here is a map showing where the fires are across Los Angeles. Still tens of thousands of people remain under evacuation orders. And we can see this the smoke forecast, kind of cool visualizations here. And then here you can see the wind. This is January 22nd. So these Santa Monica winds is really what has been fueling these fires. So it's really quite awful. So I want to, at this time, bring up my first guest, Kate Pate, who I said is the chairwoman of the Search Foundation, an organization that provides critical financial support to event professionals facing unexpected hardships. And so let's bring Kate up. Hi, Kate. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you bringing together voices to talk about such an important cause.
Yeah, I wish we were chatting under better circumstances, but this is an important conversation that needs to be had. And, you know, I can't help but feel like since the election and stuff like that, the news around the fires, at least up here in Canada, seems to have kind of dwindled down a little bit. So I'm hoping that this will refresh people's memories as to what is actually going on there. So the Search Foundation feels like it was built for moments like this. But rewinding, what failure or tragedy in our industry actually sparked its creation? Because that's, I assume that's how it came to be.
It did. It came about very organically and naturally. It's our community is hospitable. We want to take care of each other. So in the early 90s, Search started at the height of the AIDS epidemic. Became an official 501(c)(3) in 97, just because of the growth, how people started to hear about it and wanted to learn more and wanted to contribute. And what changed the trajectory was really Hurricane Katrina in 2005, because it was a lot more sickness, catastrophic based in that sense. And so many people reached out when Katrina hit New Orleans and just said, "We're devastated. Your industry needs you." And so Search had changed its mission to any catastrophic occurrence. So that is these wildfires we're experiencing, when we just went through the flooding and the devastation from Hurricanes Helene and Milton that came through. If you have any type of illness or if you have an accident, you can reach out to Search Foundation. It's meant for the individuals that are in our industry that are in crisis. It's not a government funded program that's going to help if there's a loss of income. It is directly for an individual that has been impacted. So people that have actually lost their homes are reaching out to us. We've had a few dozen since the fire started in early January touching base. We have 8 active cases currently right now just for the wildfires alone. And what most people don't realize is when you're in the moment of crisis, yes, a lot of people reach out and say, "I need help. I need to get to a hotel. I need to evacuate. I need immediate funding to get help in this moment." But right now, a majority of the cases are actually coming in from those hurricanes, from Helene and from Milton, because it takes you a little while to surface, to survey the damage, to see what do I really need in this moment. So while every devastating catastrophic occurrence, we have people that reach out immediately. We also have a 3-month cycle that all of a sudden we see a spike in cases come back, because that's really, it's the cycle of when you start to get back on your feet and assess and see where the need really is.
So it's not like within the first 24 hours you get a flood of calls. People sort of have to absorb the damage and get over the trauma, I suppose, or I don't know if "get over" it's the right word, but
Get through.
the shock, the initial shock, and then sort of assess. Now, has anyone ever come to you and been like, "Oh, someone told me about Search Foundation," or they didn't actually know about it and they heard it through the grapevine and that's how they actually came to find you?
It is. It's all of the different organizations that are out there. We joke that Search is the Switzerland of the industry because, right now we've got Site SoCal and Site Southern Florida that are reaching out to us. The MPI chapters, we've had NACE National put it out there. I know you've invited a lot of ILEA to be part of this. So all of our associations are really great supporters, but it's also the people that contribute. The very first case that came in, the fire started January 7th, and on the morning of January 8th, we had already had someone who lost their home, and they found out about Search Foundation because the owner of their company is part of our Search 100. She immediately reached out to everyone that worked with her because they're all in that Pacific Palisades area. And she touched base with her entire team and found out within 3 hours the first home was lost. So it is really, it's grassroots. It's all of this. Everyone here listening, contributing, you're all contributing in a different way, and it all counts. So whether that's monetarily to help fund these cases, because all of the money that's coming in goes directly back out into the industry, or if the way you're contributing is just spreading the word, it all matters at the end of the day.
And how did you come to be involved with the Search Foundation? And how long have you been involved?
I attended Search's annual signature event in 2010 that was in New Orleans. I was told it was the event to be at. Everyone had to be there. It's in conjunction with TSC and CaterSource, and the one this year is actually in a month, February 26th.
I attended that party at TSC
You
once.
have attended that party. I have seen you there before. Our annual signature event is really a way for our industry to come together, because what we do really as a foundation is so sad. So it's us coming together to celebrate those accomplishments, celebrate us helping the industry and giving back to it. And I remember walking into the room and thinking, like, wow, these are some really amazing people that I look up to in this room. And this is where they're choosing to spend their time and to donate their dollars back into the industry. And I heard someone come up and give a talk, and she was affected by breast cancer. And it coincided with my mother being affected by breast cancer. And the way that that struck a chord and just, it hit me right in the chest. And I was like, I need to know more. It's not just this party. I need to know more about this foundation itself. And within 3 years, I was sitting as a director on the board of directors. And then in 2019, I had taken over as chairperson, was elected to that role. So I'm on my second term with the Search Foundation. They're 3-year terms that we serve, and I'm so proud that I'm able to serve and to give back. And who I work with and work for always support the Search Foundation and my role with them.
And can you share a little bit more about the specifics about what your role actually is? Because you have a full-time job too, right? Like how much of this does this take over your life, and how has it, you know, doing this has affected or changed your life? I mean, I would imagine, like, you know, dealing with so many people in crisis, like that could have a, I mean, that would have a toll on my mental state for sure, because I'm a sensitive person. So, how is that for you? Like, that's tough.
The double-edged sword of empathy. It's what brings me through it, and it keeps me here on that side. I have the strongest board of directors. We've put some really, I think my role and the impact that I wanted to leave with this industry was to make sure that I set Search up for long-term success, not only meaning financially and that it's fiscally responsible, that this organization is going to be around for a very long time, but a lot of it is taking care of the people. So bringing in people who are just as passionate, asking for the time that they can give, and being very communicative about that. I don't want to ever burn people out. In, you know, starting in 2019, what timing. I took over a crisis relief foundation right at the what was about to be the peak of the largest pandemic hopefully we ever see in our lifetimes. I hope we never experience that again. So rolling into a crisis relief foundation during crisis really opened my eyes to make sure that we have strong committees, people that aren't going to be burned out. The very first thing that I addressed was making sure, one, that we had a solid team that was continuing to fundraise, because to date we have funded 100% of cases that are qualified. We've not turned away a qualified case ever, which is an amazing statistic. But also watching cases pour in and reading them and hearing what people are going through, that can take a toll. So the first thing I implemented was making sure that we expanded the crisis relief committee and team. So there's a couple of people that are dedicated. The only job they have is the moment there's a crisis, they're out looking for resources. So if you were to go visit searchfoundation.org right now, there's an entire list of hurricane resources and of wildfire resources. So you can go click right on there. And if you're not in our industry, or, you know, maybe you didn't lose your home, there's some other crisis you're in that has to do with the wildfire, every single application is there for you to fill out, that team was activated to go and find for you. But then also the people who are reading and grading these cases, they do it anonymously. We do not share the information of the recipients with them. It's all redacted. But I tripled the size of that committee in March of 2020, because I just couldn't put that on someone's shoulders to read that many cases and still mentally be okay and show up for themselves. So that was a big piece for me, is taking care of this entire team, the event team, make sure that those go off without a hitch and they're professionals. Crisis relief focuses on that piece. And if they ever need to tap out or say this one's too difficult or it hits too close to home, someone else is going to jump in on it. I think we all take really good care of each other to be able to continue to serve. I will say I don't always walk my talk. It's not always possible. It has been a lot that has been coming in recently. If you can hear, I think I sound like my New Jersey girl coming back where I was born today, because I'm very nasally and I am coming down with something, because it has been round the clock since January 7th of just influx, not only of our businesses that are busy and thriving, but of people that are in crisis and need help right now. So it's always going to be a delicate balance, and I'm not always going to be perfect at it, but we have people like you that jump in to help raise awareness. All of these organizations, individuals like Seppi, who are so into the mind body side of it and making sure that everyone is healed for, cared for, just so well taken care of. I do not want to steal her thunder, because she does so much, but it's individuals like that that keep us all moving.
And I know you mentioned that you've funded 100% of cases, and just for anybody who's listening who may be in crisis right now, but is too has too much pride to ask for help. What is the criteria to get approved?
There is an application that's online. So what we do is verify that you are with our industry. There are two letters of reference and filling out the application, telling the story, providing any additional pictures that you can or videos. And then our private team, Corrine, who is our administrator, she goes through and redacts out that information because a lot of times there's sensitive documents that people are supplying. If you're in crisis because you have cancer or one of some dreaded illness and you're applying for funding, things do get sent in that are very sensitive. So we make sure that all of that is redacted out before anyone else on that committee ever sees it so that they don't see who you are, they don't see where you're located, they don't actually see that private information or your financial information. But we do have a vetting process internally to make sure that each case is properly vetted before it goes to that community.
And can you talk a little bit about the specifics around what the benefits to, I don't know if benefits is the right word, but the support that you provide in terms of like specifics financially? Is it just financial? Are there other aspects to that support?
It is just financial. We've looked at it a few different times when different crises have come up, and there's been requests when fires start, when hurricanes start, the organizations like your Red Cross, your FEMA's, the ones who are truly the boots on the ground, they're already coming in with items that you need. People are figuring out where to drop off. One of the biggest things we heard going into Asheville, where we've gotten so many cases from with that horrific flooding that came through, was they were saying, please stay out. Don't bring in goods right now. So we've kind of learned it's almost a stay in our lane. We help people financially. That's what our 501c3 was approved upon. That is how our bylaws read. It is strictly receiving and then distributing funding back into the industry for those emergencies. But then that's why we take that extra step and we find those additional resources that are going to provide, whether that's diapers and formula or just bottled water and those basics that you need to survive. We do look for those resources, but there's been times we've gotten a case that is someone just needed $750 to get on a plane out of a war-torn country because their home was bombed. So it runs the gamut. Crisis never stops. I know right now the main focus is the wildfires, but we still have multiple cases coming in that are, everything from accidents and illness to it runs the gamut. You'll start to see some testimonials popping up on our page. We tend to put most of those on Instagram. It's a way that we want to say thank you to everyone for distributing so you can see where your funding goes and how it truly affects people. But I think that's really the give back is people tell me once they jump on the page and start to read some of the stories that all of a sudden they fall down the rabbit hole and 2 hours later they're still reading because they just can't believe the level of grief and crisis across our industry.
And is there some stats you can share in terms of how many people Search has helped since its inception, or the number of dollars that have been shared with people in crisis?
It's over 1.4 million since we started really tracking and honing in as a 501c3 that's been distributed. Last count I looked at, full funded cases were just over 350. And Search 100 individuals, those are our biggest support base. And I believe you're one as well, which I'm very happy to hear. You'll see people at conferences wearing their Search 100 badge ribbons, or if you see them wearing their heart pins, you know that they're part of the organization and they support. Our real donor base is individuals that give a minimum of $100 per month in perpetuity. And that's really what keeps the foundation going and keeps it strong so that there's that steady revenue. We have had, sadly, we've lost a couple of people, icons in our industry this last year. So there are grants that are in their names right now that people donate to. And then the way our industry steps up in crisis like this, the amount of calls that we've had, the people that have reached out, the events that you're seeing online, when I talk about like the different site chapters, the MPI chapters, the NACE, and all of our alphabet soup of all of these organizations, they really step up in these times and write checks, and that's what makes a difference.
And how has the fundraising efforts been over the last years? Like I know, with COVID and stuff like that, have you found that people have been more generous? Has it been more of a challenge to raise money? Like, do the analytics go upwards every year in terms of the amount raised, or is it a wave depending on financial times and things like that?
There can be some ebbs and flows, but on average, Search increases its spend annually for distributing funds by 48%. So 48% increase year over year is a
Wow.
huge number that we need to keep up with consistently. So it's us creating those strong partnerships. The fundraising, it actually surprised me. I didn't know that that's what I would see at the beginning when I really took over as chairperson and started looking into, all the different parts of the organization and how it runs, and just immersing myself in the books and who is helping where and what it looks like. At the height of COVID, we broke every single fundraising record because everyone just wanted to help. And if they were in a position to, they did. There's a handful of individuals. There's two college students that I can think of in particular. And when COVID started, they said, I want to join the 100, but I'm a college student. Like, I can't afford $100 a month. And both of them started donating. And it's still funny. I have to find the levity in this. I have to laugh over certain things. At the time, getting a Trenta iced green tea was $4.15. So that's their monthly donation that they give in perpetuity, is that $4.15, because they want to give back. And that gives me so much hope for our industry, that it's such a positive way to impact, and starting so early and so young to want to give back and have that charitable just heart, that I love seeing this. And I can't believe that when we're at our lowest times, our industry shows up first and they show up the strongest.
That's amazing. And so, okay, you can do the Search 100, but as you said, you can also set it up in a way that, if you don't have 100, maybe you have 50 or you have 20 that you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can do that relatively easily.
Yes. Yep. Searchfoundation.org. Everything lives on that website.
So you can
Whether
actually scan, where is it? Scan the QR
Yes.
code over here, and that
Perfect.
will take you directly to the donation page where you can do that. You can set up a monthly donation. You can join the Search 100. You can submit $5. You can add $2. You can add $10, whatever you want. Every dollar helps, right?
It does. It really does. That's why you see example of the two college students. Gosh, now I believe they're graduated now. I should wish them a kudos on that, because they graduated this year. I don't have the heart to tell them that ice cream tea is now over $5 though, and they're gonna have to change that donation, but it came from such a genuine and amazing place. Yeah, when you go to the Search Foundation page, you see the resources. It's give help or it's get help. Those are really the options that people are looking for. And if you want to learn more about the leadership, if you want to see the annual report, which details out how much funding comes in, the revenue streams it comes in through, and then exactly how it gets distributed, that's typically released the last week of January. So you'll see the 2024 one go up most likely tomorrow, if not Tuesday. I'm giving us a little grace on that exact deadline this year, because the year did start off in a way that none of us had hoped for. So, but you can see where every dollar goes, and our GuideStar rating, which is the organization that oversees all 501c3s and charities, we have their highest rating for both transparency and how the funds are distributed.
Amazing. And let's see, is there anything else that I know what I want to ask you. Now, let's say times are tough for someone, but they still want to help. Are there any non-monetary things people can do to help Search Foundation? Are there volunteer positions? Can they apply to be on the committees?
There's always room for help. If you're not in a position to give your dollars, time is just as valuable. Every September, we put put out a call for board nominations to see if there's anyone additional that would like to join, because they are set 3-year rolling terms. So it's set up a little different than our typical associations that we're used to, that you do a 1 or a 2-year term, you serve that and then roll up on the board. Ours is set up a little bit differently. You want a long board, longevity with that, to make sure that that you're meeting your 501c3 standards. You never want too much turnover. So there's not always a board position every year that's open, but we always do a call for interest and we build committees that way. And the biggest piece, just share, go online, look for that annual signature event that is going to be on February 26th in Fort Lauderdale in conjunction with TSC and CaterSource, and get word out to your friends that might be attending, get word out to colleagues that live in that area that they can purchase a ticket, they can come and join in. Just purchasing a ticket immediately goes back to funding.
Even if you can't go, you can still purchase a ticket.
If you can't go, you can just make a donation on there too if you wanted one. Twice a year we do auctions. So if you have items that you want to donate to the auction, we're always looking for that. Just, get involved, share the word, let people know that it's out there, it's available. And I think once people come to one event or are part of some sort of event that affects the industry that way, they're kind of in it for life. I can't think of a single person that's ever been to an event that doesn't still stay in touch in some way, shape, or form. Real quick story that really hit close to home. In 2021, we were doing an event in Miami, and your crew comes in, and we had a staffing company that we were working with for additional staff. And the catering and bartending crew showed up and came up and asked, is this the search event? And to me, they're just simply, as an event professional, they're verifying. Am I in the right location? Am I checked in? Is this where I'm supposed to be? So I verified, yes, you're at the Search Foundation. That's correct. Here's your point person. And he was like, no, Search. This is Search, the industry one. And I was like, yes, it is. Because not everyone has heard of it. And we told him, yep, this is Search. And he started crying, which of course now is going to make me cry. It's always difficult to hear, but he just said, I can't believe this is my first event. And I was like, taken a little aback. And this gentleman, it was his first event back after a motorcycle accident. And he had been out for over a year. He had been in a coma. And he let us know that because of Search Foundation, that they were able to pay their mortgage and they fed their children while he was in the hospital in that coma. And we happened to be the first event that he was back working again. And when you hear that, and when you see that, and when you meet those people and you get those hugs and they just say, thank you, that was my darkest time, and this is what got me through. That's how you keep going, and that's how you find how you dig deep and you keep moving forward and you want to get back. Because once one person tells you how it affected their lives, you're never going to be the same.
Wow. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. I think, it's important to get these stories out there. So again, if you are watching and you're able, please contribute in whichever way you can, whether that is monetarily, whether that is volunteerism, whether that is just spreading the message. Please do that. Now, Kate, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing. I know you're extremely busy between your full-time job and running Search Foundation. So thank you so much. I do want to, we're going to take a little commercial break right now just to sort of reset the room and lighten up the vibe a little bit before we bring Seppi on. And this is a great opportunity to scan the QR code and make a donation, whether it's $5, $10, $100, $10,000. It's all welcome, whatever you can afford. So please do that. Now, a little backstory on this performance I'm going to play for you. This was actually a medley recorded by a band that I represent called You Request Live, that during in the heat of the pandemic, we decided to put together a video, a medley, just to uplift people's spirits. It was a medley all about happiness, songs related to being happy. And I put it out and I said, you know what, I'm going to donate $500 to Search, and every share or like that I get on this video will add $1 to the amount. And then a friend of mine came in and said, whatever you get, I'll match. And then Michael Cervelli came and said, whatever you get, I'll match. So we raised, I think, $2,500. We actually raised about $5,000, but we split it between two different organizations. And so this is the video. We all about happiness. So please enjoy. I'm going to leave the QR code on, and right after this commercial break, we're going to be back with Seppi, who is an event professional in Los Angeles. She's got her boots on the ground. She's going to be telling us, giving us an update about how things are where she is. And we'll end the show with a very calming and relaxing breathwork exercise. So definitely stick around. Kate, thank you so much for everything that you do for the industry. We owe you all a debt of gratitude. Keep fighting the good fight. And thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And hopefully next time we'll do it under more lighthearted circumstances. So thank you and all the best. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's bring on our commercial break. So again, please scan the QR code and donate to your whatever ability you have. So let's check this out.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do.
Bring me down, you can't nothing. Bring me down, my level's too high. Bring me down, you can't nothing. Bring me down, I said. Bring me down, you can't nothing. Bring me down, oh. Bring me down, you can't nothing. Yeah, oh, ooh. Hey. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. Oh, in every life we have some trouble, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Oh, don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, no. Don't worry, baby, don't worry.
About a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the right
Don't you worry about a thing, pretty mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a don't you worry about a thing, mama. Don't worry about a thing, mama. Hey, hey, hey.
All right, I'm back. I froze myself, but that's okay. I'll be right back in 1 second here. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Hello. So hopefully that lifted your spirits. Oh, wait, I'm not back. Let me come back now. There we go. I'm back. Trying to do too much at one time. So I hope that that lifted your spirits. Again, I want to thank Kate so much for sharing so vulnerably. Thank you so much, Kate. And now it is my honor to welcome our next guest, who is Sepide Evazi. And Sepide is the Director of Global Accounts at Elevated Meeting Solutions, where she manages several financial and tech clients, bringing a wealth of experience in event management and production. She's also the founder of Dawn of the Earth, an eco-conscious company that connects breathwork and tea to enhance wellness. And let's welcome Sepide. Sepide, how are you? Thank you for joining.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to send my gratitude to my friend Kate and all the amazing things that she does. And just listening to her and all these amazing things that she's been donating her time, her energy, and her resources to make Search Foundation an incredible, trusted organization within our industry. This is something that we all need to celebrate, to have advocates like Kate that they truly believe in the power of humanity and community. And she was my first phone call, by the way, when the fire broke and I came back to LA. She was my first phone call, and she showed up wholeheartedly with no questions. And I feel very blessed to call her a friend. And also the industry is blessed to have such incredible human who puts her heart and soul to make a difference daily.
Couldn't agree more. So, Seppi, tell me, how are you doing? Is everything okay with you? Is your home safe? Give us an update, a personal update for you.
I just came back to my place on Sunday night. It's been 2 weeks that I haven't been able to be at my place. And not that my place was impacted by the fire. I chose to give my place to somebody who was in need to be in a place. And this older lady, she had some medical issues and she had a wheelchair, and there was the whole thing happening. And it was really challenging to find temporary housing for her. So I decided to give her my place, and I stayed with a friend. It's been chaotic, it's been emotional, it's been devastating, heartbreaking, inspiring, all that together. And just listening the story of others, me not being home for 2 weeks and staying at my friend's house. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but just getting back to my own place and having some stability, I'm very grateful for that. We take little things for granted. We take our beds for granted, our shower, our food, like I miss just being in my own environment and maintain my own routines. But this was the time that I decided and I chose to show up for the community, and it wasn't about me. It had nothing to do about me. And I wanted to show up. I wanted to make those sacrifices and compromises to show up for humanity. And it wasn't only for the event planners, it wasn't only for the hoteliers, it was for my neighbor, it was for somebody who was just selling coffee at the coffee shop. It was the whole community that needed the emotional support and coming together as a community. So I am getting better. I think the entire city were grieving deeply. We haven't really got to the place of processing the whole experience completely unholy because there's still so many people that they're living on survival and they're trying to figure out the basics. And it's a journey. It's not going to end tomorrow. We are in it together, and I'm very grateful that everyone who I reached out to, they showed up and they supported me. Like Janice, I was in Vegas. Janice purchased 1,095 masks over the phone, and I went and I picked it up and brought it back to LA. There were so many people that they donated so I could pick up diapers and baby foods and the things that it was really essentials at the time that we needed to provide for the families. And I'm very grateful, like, as much as I feel so much pain in my heart and I've heard so many devastating stories and I cried with them, but I'm very grateful that I had a very strong community who stood behind me, and the friends that they were living in different states, the different chapters, site, Florida and Caribbean, they really got behind us. They did fundraising for us. They just got our voice, like me and Kate both had a live interview with them, pre-recorded interview, and they just played that for their board of directors. And every single person on that board, they reached out to us and they offered support. I think this is what this work is so powerful and meaningful, besides all the financial support that we receive, is the true human connections and friendships that we develop. And I truly believe in my heart that our network and our friends and our community is our wealth. And this was a really amazing time for me to reflect back on and see, wow, I'm so wealthy. I'm so wealthy to have all these incredible humans that they truly believe in the power of connection and humanity and offering their support no matter where they were in the world. And I couldn't do that by myself if I didn't have the support that I received from everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I actually use the saying quite frequently that your net worth is your network. So
Yes.
that you just proved that point. Now, can you walk me back to when you first heard about the fire, and what was that first sort of like 48 hours like for you?
So I was in Vegas working CES, and I was not on my phone. Like my phone was on do not disturb because I was just working the show and not checking many text messages. And that night, it was on the 7th, I believe, I went home and I started checking my messages from all my neighbors that they knew I was traveling, and they said, Seppi, shall we just start packing your stuff, or do you have an extra key? And I started going through all these text messages that people were reaching out to me. And, I'm like, what's happening? So I went on the news, started reading, and, I live right behind the Griffith Park, which is one of the major parks. Granted, miraculously, whatever you want to call it, this this park is super dry, and we had like fire brushes around the park, but like they were getting into that so quickly and they were able to just stop the fire. But, they asked us to just leave and just have everything ready to go. And I was in Vegas and I had no access to my place, or I wasn't able to collect my items. So I was working the show with so much anxiety and unknowns. I've never experienced this in my life. I lived in Los Angeles for the past 6 years. Obviously, we've had fires, we hear about that, but we've never experienced it to this magnitude. And like in my lifetime, I've never experienced such horrible disaster that people are just losing their homes and, their families and all of that. So right after the show, the next day, early morning, I drove back, and every single person that I knew in my community, with my wellness community and with my event community, I reached out to them. And so many of them, they lived in those areas that the fire was really spreading quickly. So they knew I was back. My phone started to ring. They started for ask, where do we go? How can you help us? Reach out to our hotel contacts. And I just started to take the ownership of like whatever I could to provide for them. I called my contacts. I called the people that I knew their heart was in the right place and they could help me and support me, and just helping them with temporary housing, because there's some stuff that people hear on the news and there's so many perceptions. Oh, it's Palisade. There's so many rich people that they live there. They have money to go and buy another home and blah, 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 blah. And there's another side that people watch on news that Airbnb is offering free housing, Hotels are giving discounted rates, all the things, the information that people are receiving through social media. And there's a reality that we were living on site when the fire was happening, and it's not what you watch on TV or on your social media or news channels. It's like the COVID time when people were applying for unemployment. There was a process in order for them to get approved and to get like to receive the funds and all of that. It was an emergency situation, but there's always process and procedures in place. So granted, these people are in the street, not having a place to go, and we had to immediately figure out how to provide temporary housing for them. So I partnered up with Earthbound Foundation, one of my friends who is a trusted friend, and also I really knew that his heart was in the right place, and he worked with so much integrity, knowing that the money would go to the right place, to the right people. I started volunteering for them, and one by one, family by family, we talked to them. We really listened to what they were looking for, and we started doing fundraising for them. And Kate actually supported us in that space also, that we were able to find 30 days temporary housing for people until they would be able to find the proper accommodations for themselves. At the meantime, we had other volunteers that they were constantly searching for housing. So, like, imagine that I'm just searching for apartments and the apartments are unfurnished. So, this is not a time that I can furnish the apartment and get the people in. So, we had to go through so many hoops to find the sublease or like Airbnb. And imagine the volume is like really, really high. They're not able to get back to us in a timely manner. So we started like reaching out to our community, to our friends. Do you know anyone? It was like a collective work of so many people that donated their heart, time, energy, and resources to this initiative to make sure that we're able to house people. And yesterday I got a picture from one of the people that we were able to accommodate housing for her at an Airbnb, and she just had a baby. So we had cases like that, that people were pregnant, they had children, they had medical issues. There's like not like a single person healthy, happy, and then now we have to just house them. There's so many logistics, like from the school standpoint to all the medical challenges that they were experiencing. We had to navigate all of them. And I feel very fortunate that I had the opportunity not only to hold space and support them, but also just seeing that how people felt that they're not alone in this. Because at the end of the day, it comes to that we don't feel alone in this journey. I felt alone at the very beginning when I was just trying to navigate my way and understanding how I could find those resources. And gradually, like the community started coming together. And at the time, I think PCMA was happening at the same time. So a lot of industry leaders were attending the event and they were focused on other things. And when the PCMA like was ended, people came back, and then like I started reaching out and sending emails. Everything started shifting. And DJ Martin is another one that he just did a live, and he started like raising money. He just reached out to me. He's like, Seppi, how can I help you? How can I support you? And all these like small gestures means a lot, because that made a difference. He helped me to raise money to be able to support people. I mean, it's huge. Or like what you're doing, you're creating this platform for us to be able to educate others that whatever you watch on TV or social media is so different from the reality that people are living in Los Angeles at the moment.
Yeah, I that was one thing that crossed my mind as sort of concern, was that that area has such a reputation for being ultra wealthy, and there are areas that are ultra wealthy, but there's also, correct me if I'm wrong, very white collar, middle class families that live all over Los Angeles as well, not just
Yes.
extremely wealthy people, right?
Yeah.
Are there any stories from people that you've come across or have helped that you think really highlights the importance of giving right now?
There's so many stories. There's so many stories. So I started offering my time. And going back to what you just said, I want to make a comment about that area, specific area. So there are people that they bought houses in that area like their grandparents bought a place, right? And then it just passed on to the father and then to the son and whatever, whatever. These people necessarily didn't have the money to purchase those houses, right? So they're just having the regular people. They're just going to work, coming home, they're staying in those areas, but they're not ultra billionaire millionaires that they would be able to recover quickly from that. And even in that case, I still would like to invite people to be humans and understand that just because that somebody has money doesn't mean that the devastation wouldn't impact them. Doesn't mean that they won't go through the grieving and the losses. It's like losing your baby. You have so much attachment. You have so many memories. You have so many things that you've collected from your trips and travels. Like, I don't want to I really want to recognize that as humans, like people are so different. Different things matter to different people. And I think it's important that we just really honor the pain that people are experiencing regardless of their financial background. I understand having a financial support can make a huge difference in the process, but at the same time, I see the pain that everyone's experiencing regardless. And I just wanted to make that clear because I talk to these people and I see them. And so many stories that I share. So I started offering my time to do somatic breathing for nervous system regulations to help people to release this trauma that they experience, and trauma stays in your body cells. So when your body's alerted and you're living in fight, flight, or freeze for too long, the cells in the body starts changing. It manifests illnesses and diseases. That's why a lot of people they were dealing with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. I mean, this experience is surreal. So I started donating my time and just doing endless amount of like Zoom calls and some in-person events that I was offering somatic breathing. And people were just breaking down and crying and sharing like what I said, like the stories about like so many of them, they had pets and they had to leave their pets behind, and the firefighters had to go and pick them up or bring them back, or they never seen their pets. I mean, this on its own, this journey of like, or their children that they had to just grab their kids and put them in the car. I had this lady who was sharing with me that she was on a conference call and then they were just getting the notifications. She went to the room, grabbed her kids, basically with the clothes that they had on, jumped in the car. But like there was a massive traffic that people were trying to exit out. And that highway is not big. Like there are like two lines each way. And people were so afraid that they were getting out of the cars and they were just running because they were stuck in traffic and they were so afraid for their lives and they had to just run away. They didn't know where they were running. They were just trying to save their lives, save their children, save their pets. And it's sad, it's heartbreaking, but I've learned throughout this process that this community in Los Angeles is very strong. The artists, the creators, the event professionals, this industry, so many farmers, I mean, the chefs, every single person in my network that I know, somehow they were giving back. Either they were their products, they were donating their time, money, resources, their homes. There were so many of my friends that they were offering their homes to other people, people that we've never met. This lady who stayed in my place, I didn't know her. I've never met her in my life. Did somebody send me the info and said, Seppi, we can't find a place for her. I'm like, I'll swap. I'll just stay out and she can come and stay at my place. But this is the time that like I really felt humanity at its core, the kindness that I experienced, the hugs that we received from strangers that we've never met before. It kept us stronger together. And so many times I had conversations with my friends that they live in different states, and I was able to cry and let it out, and they held space for me, so I was able to serve others.
Wow. Well, if that can't convince you to donate now, I don't know what can. And, just from a sort of logistical perspective, I mean, even people who have $1 million house or $2 million house, it was passed down through the generations. It doesn't mean that they have cash in the bank, like Seppi said. And the rebuilding and the insurance, this is going to be a nightmare, right? It could be years before people actually are able to rebuild their homes, if they even rebuild them, right? Some people may just say, not have the money to do it. It's just going to be too complicated. Huge losses. It's devastating. So thank you so much for everything that you've been doing to support your community and event professionals and spreading the word. I was hoping that to close out the show, you could guide us through a short somatic breath exercise so we can kind of feel a little bit more zen going into the rest of the day and feel, open up our hearts to donate and to spread the word and to help the cause in any way that you can.
So, somatic breath work is very near and dear to my heart because I've seen massive transformations when people experience that. And our body is so intelligent. And soma is a Greek word that means body. So, we have different areas in our body that we can reset the nervous system. It's all about your relationship with your nervous system, the way you show up with your nervous system, the way you connect with your nervous system. And that's what I'm about to show you. The whole session, in order for me to get you from sympathetic to parasympathetic, we need a full hour to be able to get the body to that space. However, I would just share some tips about the breathing that you can use to break the automatic throughout the day when you feel that rush of stress, when you get that phone call, when you get that email, whatever that's happening around you. It's so important to take a breath and step back and get to your conscious breathing. So this is specific breathing. We're going to call it a double inhale. And it's from your nose. So we do one inhale from your nose, another inhale from your nose. And there's a button here between your collarbone. You press this and pull it down as you're holding your breath. Release and let go. Drop your shoulders like a big sigh from your mouth. So this button right here between your collarbone, it resets the nervous system in your chest. This is where we hold our anxiety and depression and sadness and grief and pain. Also in our backs, also in our shoulder and in our neck. This area is very deeply connected. So we're going to do a couple more practices. So you put your hand in the middle of your collarbone. There's like a little button here, like this, like the empty space. Deep inhale from your nose. Hold. Another inhale. You hold and press this button, and when you're ready, release and let go from your mouth. Let it go. Did you feel that your body really dropped in?
Yes.
So this method is the quickest way when you're just, even like when you're in the traffic, like when I'm in the red light, behind the red light, I start like doing that when I feel like that I'm just getting out of my groundingness. My breathing has helped me so much to be better for others. They always say, put the oxygen mask on yourself to be able to serve others. And there were so many moments that I was pouring on people's cups and I didn't have the space to give more and more. And these methods really helped me to ground myself and just bring myself back home. So I would invite everybody, if you stay with this practice, it doesn't take much when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed, during the day, when you're feeling the rush of distress, this can really help you. And trusting the intelligence of our body, that how our body is so intelligent, and we are able to remove all these trapped emotions from our body.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, if anybody is interested in getting in touch with you to either experience a full somatic 1 hour session with you, or to have you plan their event, or just to talk to you for support because they are living through the same thing you are, what's the best way for people to reach out?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Sepideh Evazi, and then also they can get on my website, Dawn of the Earth. Sepideh in English means dawn. My background is Iranian, born and raised. So that's why I named my company Dawn of the Earth. And as you mentioned, it's a sustainable, eco-conscious, purpose-driven company that I'm merging wellness and events together. So you can message me on my website. You can go on my Instagram, Sepideh Evazi on my personal Instagram, and Dawn of the Earth if you wish to reach out to me to book a session, or you need any support. I'd be happy to support you.
Well, there you have it, folks. Reach out to Seppi if you are interested in any of those things, or just to connect with her on LinkedIn. Seppi, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know things are crazy right now. Really, really appreciate you taking the time, and really wishing you the best, and hope that, things ease up, and the situation in Los Angeles. I know it's going to be a long haul, for the city, for people, and we're really, our thoughts are with you, and our donations and our support. Where is it? Here it is. There it is. Where is it? There it is. Somewhere around here.
Right.
Somewhere around here. You can scan this QR code. Now, we are live, but if you watch the replay, you can donate this QR code. It works all the time. It works live, and the need is going to be ongoing. So, even if you catch this 3 weeks from now, there's still going to be people in Los Angeles who are going to be in need. And they're, unfortunately, with the way the climate's going, and not just natural disasters and climate change, but also human disasters, chemical spills, oil spills, like, things are getting crazy in this world. And the need is only going to be increasing, I'm afraid. I hate to say it, but we're going to need to keep a close eye on these things, and do proactive things to prevent, climate change, and things like that. And then also reactive things that when there are disasters, that, you can actually step up and do something that's within your means. So, Sepideh, wishing you the best. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing these stories. You are an amazing speaker. I didn't even really have to ask any questions. I just kind of let you do your thing, and you gave a lot of great information. So thank you.
I wanted to say thank you to you also, that I'm grateful. You reached out to me. I never reached out to you. So thank you for creating this space. Thank you for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity to amplify their voices, because I'm really on the ground and volunteering and working and supporting. So people like you, that they create this space for us to come and share our experiences, to educate others that what really truly matters as a community when we come together. I wanted to say thank you for being an awesome
the least I can
human.
do. It's
And
the
it
least
means
I
the
can do.
world to me. It means the world to me.
No, thank you so much. So, Sepideh, I'm going to say goodbye to you now. So thank you again. And that brings to conclusion the episode. Again, thank you so much to Kate and Sepideh. Again, you can scan the QR code over there, and donate. You can reach out to Search Foundation to volunteer or get on the committee. And February 10th is going to be the next episode of That's Entertaining. And I'm excited because I have the dude, Klaus Rasted, coming on to the show. We're going to be talking about the events industry, innovation, and AI. I'm going to be demoing some new and really exciting generative AI in terms of video generation and video and photo generation, and using AI in your content and storytelling. So that is for February 10th. And again, if you enjoy the show, please subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like this, you can share it to your network. You can go to my profile on LinkedIn. You can ding the bell and click all so you get notified when I post or when we go live next time. And I think that's about it for me. So I am going to sign out. This is Arthur K. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Making sure your kids stay keen. Let's turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Light up the airwaves, fire in the code we see.